Hi, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Andrew. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Sorry for the lateness of the video. Try and get these up as soon as I possibly can, but thank you, Dan. I really do appreciate it. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Those are the best ways to do it. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who send, thank you. I do appreciate it. But this is for Benny Loves You, a 2019 comedy horror film that when he sent me the title, I kind of went, what is this? Because I'd never heard of it before. And then I'm thinking, okay, is it going to be like some stalker movie or something? But come to find out, it is about a killer puppet, plush toy. And then I kind of went, okay, it's going to be one of those cheap-ass films where you're barely going to see it, and then you see like around the corner, and then you turn around and it's gone, and it's going to be like, the camera's going to be up close, and people will be, yeah, doing this, and make it seem like it's moving on its own. And I just think like some of these lower budgeted films that really cheap out and just really lame. But this, no, this was actually much better than I expected. This was fun. It had an entertaining sense of humor. The special effects were actually pretty good. I mean, yeah, when the doll walks, it's like this, da, 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 da. But there are times where it's able to like hold a knife and be like, ta-da! There are fight scenes, including like a toy versus toy, like big fight scenes, slow-mo, like dodging knives, and I mean, what the fuck? Like, this was, and it may not seem like it at the beginning of the movie, but as it goes on, like it's much more ambitious than I thought it was, which I really appreciate that. Like, I thought this was a nice, fun, yes, silly, goofy, but nice, funny surprise. And I wanted to give credit, that's why I have my phone out, to Karl Holt. Because he wrote the film, he directed the film, and he stars. I didn't realize the director also starred in the film, but yes, Karl Holt, who plays the lead guy, Jack. Sorry, the damn sinuses. I actually thought he did a really good job, both acting-wise and directing-wise. Like, again, this was an ambitious project. And it's one of those things where, like I said, I didn't think it was going to be anything much at first, but the way Benny, the doll, acts, which is pretty much Tickle Me Elmo. Like, they change enough to not get sued, but it's still, you know, a red plushie. It's got that high-pitched voice, that cutesy voice, and, oh, I love you, it says that a lot. Like, a certain amount of phrases it says. But again, you change it enough so you don't get sued for being actually Elmo. And the story of the film, before I go forward, Jack, he's just turning 35 years old. His parents have passed away. The way that's done is actually kind of funny, in a dark comedic way. He works at this toy company, he's supposed to be designing stuff. This prick named Richard gets the better of him and gets promotion, while Jack gets fired, but then rehired, but then demoted to lesser pay. He needs money for his place, but he doesn't have it, so he has to sell the place. And then he's trying to find a way to better his life. One of them is putting away his toys, including his plush doll, Benny. Which, later on, there's a nice, sweet flashback of his mom giving him this toy to help with his nightmares, with his fears, among other stuff. But when he does that, the toy comes back to life, or comes to life, I should say, not back to life, and starts doing nice things for him because we're friends. And then he only has a certain amount of vocabulary. But then some of those nice things are killing the competition, including the accountant guy, accountant manager guy that's been giving Jack a hard time. And the way this is done is like there are times where Benny will do horrible things, but then it has this innocent ta-da, like look what I did, and he's got the knife and stuff. Or him trying to figure out how to get out of this situation, and the montages of them playing or doing other things. Like, it's a very silly film. You're not supposed to take it seriously. There's a lot of references to other movies. There's literally a line that Jack says describing Benny, where he's pretty much describing the Terminator. Feels no pity, no remorse. I know there's one editing bit that I swear they were referencing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where there's a bit where Benny has destroyed the other toys. This is before Jack knows that Benny's alive. And so Jack comes into the room and he sees all these dead toys. A toy like bunny head in a boiling. So I guess that's supposed to be like a nod to Fatal Attraction. And he sees like all these toys, and then the way that's edited, they don't have the sound effect that ding. But literally, if you add in that sound, like the way it's edited, with kind of like pictures being taken, it reminds me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But it's these dead plush toys. So I thought like that was kind of funny. Pretty much, he gets inspired. He gets better at his job. Has a new line of toys. Meets this woman at the job. They fall for each other. He spends more time with him and less time with Benny. But then Benny, even though he promised, can't control himself, so he kills a few others. Eventually leads to the lead guy losing his job. Benny getting rid of Benny for good, and Benny coming back and wanting to reach some revenge. I'm trying not to get into the details, because I do think, while I liked Willy's Wonderland more, I definitely put that high above this one. This one still has that same fun, silly vibe. The idea is better than you would think, with direction, with style. And I say with the third act, like there's times where like Jack is controlling the toy, and then Benny, and they're the toy he's controlling, and Benny are at the end of this fight, and there's certain moves, and like the thing has a buzzsaw, and Benny does this, and it goes slowly over. I'm like, this is an actual fight scene with fucking toys. And again, the effects, they're not the Matrix, they're not. But for the low budget they had, it was pretty ambitious, and I do appreciate that. I guess it also depends how much chuckles you'll get out of the idea of a plush coming alive and doing dirty deeds, and not sexual deeds, more violent deeds, but having this air of innocence, like ta-da, cuddle me, uh-oh, that kind of vernacular. Like I said, this was much better, much funnier than I thought it would be. So I did quite enjoy it. To get more into spoilers, it starts, and this is what I think, like the beginning I was a bit iffy on. Because you have this really spoiled, bratty girl having a tantrum, throws this bear away, this teddy bear, bitchy at her mom. The mom, you tell, she just spoils her kid. So gives her this doll she wants, gives her this dollhouse she wants. But you can tell the sense of humor is that you're not supposed to take this film seriously. Because instead of Google, she has something called Find Stuff, I think it's called. And she types, "Is it legal to smack your kid?" And so when the kid is bitching again, you see the smack and then slow-mo and the saliva fly out. And I felt bad, but I did laugh at that. because the kid was so bitchy. Of course, in real life, never do that no matter what. In real life, no matter what, never do that. But I will admit, it's again, you tell the film's not trying to be serious. It did make me laugh, I will say. But the bear comes in, brings her to the closet, drags her in. The mom's like, "What's you screaming for now?" Finds her daughter dead, no eyes. She freaks out. Then you cut to our lead character, Jack. Again, he's a toy designer, but he's failing. He tries to do this presentation, this dancing disco robot, but then it says AIDS. And he's like, well, I was meant to say raid, robotic, but he screwed up. He forgot to put the R in front of it. So that's like Richard being a prick going, well, so who for Christmas want to get their kids AIDS, huh? And I thought the lead guy, like who's the director, I thought he did a good job. I thought he was natural. I thought his performance, it didn't seem wooden. It didn't seem stiff. It didn't seem stilted. Like maybe because he wrote the script so he was natural in this dialogue. But it came out that way. He turns 35. His parents throw him a birthday. And the way this is done, where spoilers throughout, the dad trips on something falls on his head, and then the mom, you have this slow-mo of toothpicks. You know how you have like cheese tubes and you have toothpicks in them? And you see the slow-mo kind of flying, the mom going, ugh, and it's, her face gets impaled in the toothpicks. And then the guy comes up and goes, what the hell? Mom, you okay? Listen, you see the toothpicks on her, she goes, So no, they're not okay, and they die. I'm like, I thought that was kind of funny. Not what I expected. And then it's months later, things aren't going well. He owes money. He's got to sell the place, and he gets fired because the prick Richard got what he wanted. But then he gets rehired, but then he's demoted, less pay. He doesn't know what to do. One day, Lisa Nelly, he puts his stuff away. The idea, there's a sweet flashback scene where there's like a monster in his closet, but it looks like a real monster. I kind of like the way it's done. Like you barely see it, but you see it's done practically, except maybe the eyes, but the body's done practically. I don't know. It reminded me of something I would see in the '80s film House or The Date. Like, I didn't mind the design of the monster, although we didn't see him much. And his mom comes in with this Benny plush. I think just because the mom's performance during that scene, she's very comforting, she's very sweet. And I just thought that was a nice scene to showcase in the film. It really does showcase how this toy helped him out with his childhood. But he's got to pack away his old things. Benny doesn't like that. So again, the next morning, Jack comes in and sees that all his toys have been either hung or stabbed or boiled. And again, the way it's edited, like a bit like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which made me laugh. And then at work, in his new demoted job, he meets this lady named Dawn. I forget the actress's name, but I thought she did a good job as well. And she's very natural. In their British ways. This is a British horror comedy. But, I mean, when at a good pace, it was only 90 minutes long. It didn't overstay its welcome. One day he gets in the bed and he finds that account manager who was a prick to him is decapitated. He's like, what the hell's going on? And then he sees his toy Benny. You see he leap in slow motion. Think he's going to attack this guy Jack. But he puts the knife in the decapitated head and goes, ta-da! Like, wanting the guy to be impressed at what he did. And that's the thing, the behavior, the way they made Benny move, the voice that they give him, which I think that's also done by the director and the star. Again, he's so innocent and he's so like playful. It's like, look at me, wanting to impress and being a big fan of this Jack character. It's a funny, almost sweet, earnest innocence to this killer plush doll. And then to impress Jack even more, put the rest of the guy's body at the table, intestines on, and then there's blood everywhere. And Jack's kind of in a state of shock. So soon after, the cops come over. Because remember, he had called before, like someone broke into my house. They come back to check up on him. And I didn't care for these cops. Thankfully, they're not in the film much. They're in like 2 or so scenes, and then at the end of the film, so like 3 or 4 scenes. I just didn't think they were funny. They were being assholes. They wanted their biscuits. It's like, it's not my job to feed you. Fuck off. I just didn't think they were funny or entertaining or anything. That's one of the few things I disliked about. But again, thankfully they're not in the film much. But a lot of the details are pretty funny. Like the body is left on the table. Benny apparently put the fingers in the toaster because they pop out of the toaster. Or Jack, he's got to bury the body because, I mean, let's face it, what else is he going to do? If he tells the cops, they're not going to believe him. They don't think he's a psycho. They're not going to believe that a damn puppet did it all. So he buries it. And like you have the scene where he throws the head in the hole, and next to it, Benny's just dancing with a flower. But eventually it does help Jack be inspired to make more designs. And then you have this montage where he's taking pictures of Benny in different clothes, working and getting closer to this girl Dawn at work. And then there's times with him and Benny, they're in the bathtub or playing other stuff. They're watching Nosferatu, and Benny's afraid of horror films, so he keeps covering himself up. Like, it's cute, and it's funny, and it's weird, and it's kind of sweet, and it just sounds pretty damn funny. Now, he asked Benny, please promise me to not do this anymore, to not hurt anyone. Say okie dokie, if you can understand me. Okie dokie. But of course, he's away at work one day. This real estate guy comes by with his lady. And Benny impales the guy with the real estate sign and steers the lady to go up into the attic. And I lied, there's 2 things I didn't really care about the film. The cops and this whole thing with the lady. Because it makes a bit of a running gag that this lady stays in the attic and never bothered to go back down. Never bothered. Because you like, long stretches of time will happen, then we're being reminded, oh yeah, she's in the attic. And even like when the movie ends, if you stay through the credits, you see that the lady apparently stayed up there so long she became a skeleton. Because apparently she was so fucking stupid, she couldn't hear anything, couldn't hear the cops there, couldn't hear the gunshots apparently. I would hear gunshots, go, what? And look out the window of the attic. Apparently she's too fucking stupid, and she stayed up there, just died. I mean, okay. I mean, I don't think that was needed. I don't know. I guess it depends how you feel about that death. To me, like, okay, whatever. But I mean, there's other stuff that I thought was kind of more funnier, more fucked up. Like for example, the boss, who's liking what Jack is doing. He's gonna go on a trip or something, and he's like, "Hey, could you watch my dog for me? This little cute dog." Of course, I would say no because you know who's there, but he doesn't want to upset his boss. So then what happens is Benny has an axe, starts chasing the dog, and does a slow mo with the axe, and the axe impales the dog on the fucking wall. And I'm like, number one, it does one of the things they usually not supposed to do: kill kids or kill animals. It killed kid at the beginning of the film, and it killed an animal here. So, a bit ballsy with that. Number two, I mean, this is how hypocritical I am. If that was a cat, I'd probably be like, but because it does kill a cat actually with a lawnmower, but you don't really see much. You kind of see, and then you just see the lawnmower and some blood. So you don't like this one. Real enough, there's like more detail. So he did kill a cat, but you didn't see a whole lot. But you do see this with the dog, and I guess hypocritical. If that was a cat, but it was a dog. I'm like, oh, so I don't know how dog lovers will be with that. But it was a bit fucked up. I'll say that. So then Benny is trying to go for the girl, but then he's like, oh shit, I gotta protect this lady, so I'm going to stab it. But then it looks like he stabbed the dog. But I guess he tried to come up with a story that he tried to attack her. Either way, he gets fired. I'm like, the fact you didn't go to jail, you should be happy about. The fact you just got fired, you're talking when they think you murdered a dog, probably got off lightly. But of course, he's pissed at Benny. Benny doesn't realize it, doesn't understand it. Still thinks, hey, let's cuddle. Then gives him a present later on, which is his boss. So Jack goes, okay, I want this, this, and this. Seems like everything's going to work out, but then Benny stabs him in the neck with a knife. And that's what I mean, like, there's some nice artistic moments. Like, there's shots where you see, like, the up close of a knife, and going in slow-mo, and certain angles, and later on, when he buries Benny and Benny gets out, you see Benny kind of sad and slow-mo walking in the rain, like trying to be very serious, but it's such a ridiculous idea. And then like Benny breaks into something and grabs all these weapons, like a sai and a little sword, like he's a ninja. So he dresses himself up as a ninja. There's a scene where he tries to get to Jack and Dawn, and the other workers are there. They escape, but the other workers are trapped, so he like starts killing everybody. When it chases after our lead characters to Jack's house, also somehow he was able to get the other toys of Dawn and Richard that they liked, and they come back to life, so there's more killer dolls here. And then like Jack tries to control a doll to fight Benny, and they're going back and forth, and like one has a buzzsaw while Benny has sais or a sword, and at the end they're like dodging in slow motion, and it's like, this is not what I expected. This is the best way to put it. It's a polished full moon film. I don't know if I said that earlier. If not, if I so, I'm repeating it. If not, and I like some of those full moon films, like Puppet Master. I like some of the sequels. I love Doll Man. But a lot of those puppet stuff that Charles Band, especially stuff he does nowadays, like Ginger Dead Man. That's what I thought this was going to be. I thought this was going to be like Ginger Dead Man and Evil Bond, and like those really cost like $5, cheap ass shit. They barely do anything move. It's more people just talking about bullshit, or how many cameos can we get from this star that has been around for 5 years or 10 years. No, this one was a bit more ambitious, a bit more fun, a bit more polished than some of those, especially those later full moon films. This is kind of what Charles Band wants to do today. It can't quite do it. There's some creative kills. Richard, the prick, his toy hits him in the stomach and then takes a vacuum and vacuums up his guts. You actually did multiple toy fights because that toy started fighting Benny the toy. I almost didn't understand though why they were fighting each other because it seemed like they were all part of whatever brought these things back to life. So you think they'd be on the same side. But I guess what you come to find out is that Benny, despite being pissed at Jack, still cares for him. So yeah, they get into it like a fight. And like there's this bit where Benny's on the ground and this toy robot's trying to hit him, and you see Benny like a wide like a shot go looking down where Benny's like rolling out of the way while the robot keeps hitting the floor and pummeling the floor. And even the end of the film felt kind of sad and sweet where Jack tells Benny anything on his mind. And hey, they're going to take me away, these cops, and I'm not going to. You can't follow. But listen, just you can't do this anymore. He pretty much lets it all out. And I'm leaving some things out because I don't want to go through every single thing. I know I'm spoiling it. It is spoilers, but then he jumps out in slow mo, and you think he's going to attack Jack, but then he goes out the window and goes after the cops, and then like slow mo where he gets shot up, and it did not what I expected. The way it's done, the way it's filmed, made it funnier. I'm not sure how to put it. But this is one of those movies that, again, the effects are better than what you would think. The fact that the toy is so innocent in its act of what it's doing in terms of its, so many times go ta-da, or it'll be like trying to bow in certain things, in certain situations. That no matter what, you can tell that it still cares for its owner, no matter what. Again, there's something a bit sweet about that, as sadistic some of the things are. It doesn't go too overboard. Like there's, I'm surprised, but I'm thankful there's nothing sexual. Just sometimes people try to go that route where, oh well, I don't know, like they think that's funny. Maybe if you don't do it the right way, it could. But I just the guy like knew, nah, I'm not gonna go with that type of humor. So it's like, oh well, maybe the doll wants to hump something or wants to do this and that, or but no, they don't go that route. I didn't, thankfully. Like I said, the acting is good. The premise is silly and goofy, but the pacing's pretty fast. The running time is short enough, doesn't overstay its welcome. Again, the running gag of the woman stuck in the attic and too stupid enough to realize to leave, and then the two cops, wasn't really big on them. But again, thankfully, those are small parts of the film. Honestly, some of that I would just edit out. Okay, you want the cops at the end, fine, but just have cops arrive. Just have, I don't know, a neighbor call the cops, something weird's going on over there. The cops come, they see this thing, they shoot it. There you go. And then that's all you have to do. But yeah, the guy, Carl, the writer, director, actor, he did a very solid job. I would definitely commend him on that. And it's sad that this film went very under the radar because, like I said, I never heard of this film until watching it now. But idea, if you like goofy, fun, ambitious movies, I didn't like Willy's Wonderland. I would put way above this. But I mean, I like this more than what was it? That Banana Splits movie. I like this a lot more. I think it's a bit wittier and funnier. And the ending, I like the finale went a bit more ambitious with the effects. And I did have actual like toy versus toy fight scenes. I thought were pretty cool. I did not what I expected. Granted, I spoiled it, so I don't know if that would impress people now. But like I said, some of the artistic directing choices were better than I thought it would be. And yeah, it's a fun film. Like I say, it's kind of what Charles Band Full Moon would love to be nowadays. And it's definitely much more polished than what Charles Band would have done. I know I keep knocking Charles Band, but I mean, just because I think of puppets, like Charles Band done like 50 movies involving puppets at least. But I think this is one of the better ones of that nature. And sorry, Charles. But other than that, again, this was a fun, pleasant surprise. I'll put it that way. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.